University of Alabama, Birmingham.
Hi, I'm Ryan Murphy. I'm the current president of SAACS at UAB.
And so today we're going to be talking to you a little bit about taking education to the screen, the development of a video demonstration series. So who are we? So we are the student affiliates, the American Chemical Society, SAACS for short. So we are a group of undergraduates who have a particular interest in science education, but we range across a lot of majors, which is something really unique to our organization. So we range from all the way from chemistry majors to music majors, which is something super interesting. So we have two main goals, and the particular first goal is introduction to science, because you have to have that first interaction with it to really get the spark initiated. So the second is to promote a love of learning and a lifelong interest in science, because without this, we truly wouldn't be able to start moving into a new range of scientists. So what is our role? So we play a large role in the Birmingham community. So like a lot of other large cities, there is a lot of underrepresented people in Birmingham. So we really want to reach out to the community and particularly interact with these people. And we do this a lot through hands-on education. So we have a lot of local elementary schools that we partner with, including the McLean Science Center, which is a local kind of exploratory science center. And we also partner with the Science Olympiad, which is one of the only student-run chapters in the entire nation, which is super cool for our university. But at these outreach endeavors, we actually got a lot of teachers and old educators saying that, well, a lot of the demonstrations were cool and flashy. A lot of the students didn't really have an understanding of the science. So you wanted to really incorporate more of this information into what we were doing. So in partnership with this, University of Alabama at Birmingham has been having two main goals. And the first is the tagline of the university, which is knowledge will change your world. So we really wanted to focus on this. And the second is that sustainability is becoming more and more of a problem. So we wanted to really focus more on sustainable efforts. And the university really did this by going paperless. So two professors in our university won 2 grants for the Affordable Instructional Materials Grant, Dr. Jacqueline Nichols and Dr. Mincy Erdman. And to do this, they actually created paperless options for lab students, saving $106 on average per student. And while this may not seem like a lot, for someone who's paying for their own education, this is a lot of money. And to do this, not only did it give options for students who didn't have a lot of money, it also made it a little bit more flexible for them to add and to tweak what type of things they were putting in their curriculum. So particularly Ryan and I worked on the video series with Dr. Nichols for the organic chemistry. And with this is kind of where we got the idea that this would be a really interesting way to kind of explore this option that we saw a lot of problems with in the community. So Ryan's going to talk to you a little bit more about the technical aspects now of this project.
Yeah, so to go over the technical aspects of making a video series, there's really 3 main steps to any video series you're going to do. There's the pre-production steps, the production steps of actually shooting and filming the project, and then post-production of actually editing everything together and distributing the final product. And so to start off with the research and scripting stage, so as Emily mentioned, our chapter does a lot of community outreach, so we already had a pretty extensive network of demonstrations. However, there were some gaps in the knowledge that we had. Some of the material that we had was just passed through oral tradition from officer to officer, and then there was just some missing information for some demos. So we needed to figure out a standard way to make sure that we had the same quality of information for every demonstration we wanted to film. And so that kind of led into the new method of how we wanted to map out our scripts for this video series. And so to kind of break it down piece by piece, we had a formal title for each demonstration, and we moved into the classification of the experiment. Basically, is adult supervision required? Are there any chemical hazards associated with the demonstration? Then talking about the required materials and suggested materials that you could do to make the demo like flashier or exhibit extra scientific properties. Then moving into the safety precautions, what safety gear is required, you need goggles, apron, etc. And are there any chemical hazards that need to be taken to special notes? Then of course the procedure for the demonstration, followed by the cleanup protocol. Are there any chemicals that need to be disposed of in particular ways? And then of course, lastly, the science. What is it that children can learn from going through these demonstrations? And so this first step of the process with the research and scripting was conducted from May of 2016 through January of 2017. In total, we ended up having 75 total pages scripted with 1-inch margins, 4-point font, so it was a lot of writing. And in this research process, we actually discovered 9 new demonstrations that we hadn't previously had. So that was a big bonus of going through this research process. And then all of this information for the scripts in the video series is also the foundation for the written book that we have prepared with the video series. And so then moving into getting ready for production and some of the later stages of pre-production, we needed to check our own supplies, make sure we had all the chemicals we needed, and then to purchase all the ones that we didn't. That was graciously provided by the ACS grant that we received for this project. And then once we had all the materials, for any new demonstrations or new safety protocols we had, we needed to make sure we tested them before we got in the studio to film to make sure that everything performed as we expected it to. And then really quickly to go through the film equipment that we use just as a basic overview. So the camera that we use to shoot this project is the Sony NextCam. This is a camera that's used for a lot of documentary filmmaking projects. And this camera was actually available to us through both the UAB Chemistry Department and the UAB Digital Media Conference. We used Audacity 1.2.5 for all of our audio recording and editing. And then I had my own personal light kit and microphone that we used, but there were comparable equipment from the Digital Media Conference we could have used had we chosen to do so. And then of course the tripods and the backdrop for the studio. And something that's important to note about our studio setup, the UAB Chemistry Department was gracious enough to let us use their laboratory spaces, but any day that we wanted to film, we had to make sure all of this setup and takedown of the set was concentrated in the same day, as during the week there were going to be lab classes in those labs. And then the last step of pre-production was the volunteer recruitment. We recruited all the volunteers from our organization through the eSync portal, which is a portal at UAB for managing student organization participation. We had a total of 26 volunteers on camera and speaking in audio, and then we had a handful of others helping behind the scenes as well. And of course, in this video series, we wanted to showcase the diversity of our members in our organization. So it was a goal that we set out to do, but luckily this wasn't a difficult goal to accomplish since we do have a diverse volunteer body and they're always so willing to help out with projects like this. So then looking at the actual production with the filming and audio recording, this process was conducted from February through August of 2017. We had a total of 72 hours logged in the filming studio over the course of 11 full days spread out over this time course. And when we say 169 man-hours, so all the time that we had logged in the studio, a lot of times we had 2 or 3 people working in parallel, so it's just the total amount of volunteer hours we had logged in the eSync portal. Now to get into the post-production, so the audio editing, we had about 4 hours of audio recorded that needed to be edited down to 2.5 hours. And so when I talk about editing down the audio, it's mainly just taking the clips that work best, reducing background noise, doing a lot of other small edits to make sure the audio sounds as crisp and as clear as possible. And then for our music production, we actually outsourced this to a friend and colleague of mine at UAB, Isaac Brady, who is with a group called Club AM. They're a group in the Birmingham community that specializes in hip hop and rap, but Isaac does a lot of music production for documentary films and other films. And so we were really thankful to have his help with this project. And if y'all are interested in checking out any of their work, we've got their SoundCloud page up there as well. Now, for this stage of post-production with the video editing, this is the phase that is still in progress. And why are we still working on this? Well, overall, we shot over 14 hours of video that needs to be edited down to about 2.5 hours. So it is a very laborious process that is taking a while, but we are well on our way to completing that this upcoming summer. Also for all the graphic design involved in the videos and for publicity of this video series, all of this is being done in a program called Pixelmeter. It's kind of a comparable program to Photoshop without some of the bells and whistles that Photoshop has. And then all the general editing is being conducted in Final Cut Pro. And we're also working to timestamp all of the videos where we have like a video module with several demos where you'll be able to match the demonstration in the written text to the specific part of the video module we want to go see.
Okay, so to go back to the kind of community aspect, so what is the actual purpose of this? Well, we want to make sure this is shared in the community as this idea of like sparking interest in science and promoting that education. So we're actually making this free and available to the entire public. So we're going to make it available on our university page and on our own personal website, which we have. And then we're also going to use the rest of the remaining grant money to print out copies and make physical CDs for the community partners, which we share, as a thank you gift for all the work that they've helped put in through us, and kind of as a continual long partnership of interest in this educational program. So here's an example of one of the pages of the book that we have. So the book is about 50 to 60 pages long. It's still kind of in the progress because, like Ryan said, we're trying to timestamp it with the video. But as you can see, it's laid out really, really well in the sense of it's eye-catching, and you can particularly choose out what pieces you're looking for, but it's also really colorful, and that's really drawing into a lot of kids. So there's a lot of people we'd really like to thank. The first is the American Chemical Society, who gave us the new activities grant to start this project, but also to our local Alabama section, who gave us the funding to be here physically. We'd like to thank our moderators, Dr. Jacqueline Nichols and Dr. Gary Gray, who have helped us through this endeavor and have graciously worked with us and allowed us to use facilities at UAB. And to last, to our volunteers and to our officers, because without them, none of this would truly be possible. So we actually have kind of like a teaser trailer on our YouTube page. If you want to scan it, you can just pull it up on your phone and use the camera, and you can just pick it out, and it'll show you about a 2-minute long video of kind of what we're working on, but it's kind of still in the trial phase.
And it is an unlisted video right now, so you will need to have the link or the QR code to be able to view it. We'll probably leave it up for a couple of weeks, and it's just as a special preview to the audience here. There are a few things that are subject to change with the final drafts of the video, but this should give you a good idea of what the final product is going to be.